Hello and welcome to this Mardini, I think day 4 breakdown. I will do, of course, more breakdowns about the Mardini challenges, daily challenges too. But I think a lot of you ask about this little daily piece here. And I think we can get started right away. So this is the daily piece, and the topic was escape, and I associate the escape term with escapism. So in Germany it's Eskapismus. It's basically the escape from reality, and I want to define make a definement with this VR glasses and the head connected with the wires, and then here this little font: Collective Escape Motion Technology AD 2021. And there are several details, so the scratches, the wires, then the connectors, the VR headset, and of course the head was the basic geometry. So I modeled, at first I modeled the VR headset, then I placed the connectors, after the connectors the lines, and after the lines there's one more thing. It's this glass plate with some scratches. Okay, so we will start. This is the tree, basically. This is just the headset, the VR goggles, not headset. And this is basically, this was an R&D term, and this is the connectors and the wires. And this is the modeling of the headset. So here's a simple image I took from Google to try to get the proportions right and anything else too. So I started with some basic curves. So I started here with a curve. Polybeveled the points. So when you polybevel the points, you will get like this rounded rectangle shape. And I played a little bit with the scale, so I always got my template up here, the template head, and I basically tried to get a scale right, so I scaled it a little bit and then moved it forward. After that I placed another curve. I think I didn't scale it, no. Again, I make a polybevel here on the side corner to just get a good looking organic form. Then I moved it up here. I reversed it and I mirrored it. And then I booleaned that basically with intersection, so you will get those two pieces. So you've got the main piece, and then you will make a boolean intersection, and you will be left with this piece here. So I've fused the points, the remained points together. I think there were some not connected, and I've just fused them. Then another group, an edge group, and again a polybevel. After the polybevel, I think I blasted the internal backside away. And I think, let's see what. Oh yeah, that was like this this rubber piece here for a softer feeling when you've got the goggles on. So this was the cover, or the soft rubber piece, and that was basically a little bit of a hassle, because I wanted to do it with a poly expand or a simple point extrusion, but yeah, it didn't look good, and then I just did it with soft transform stuff, with points. And so you can see here I soft transformed it a little bit, I merged it, then I skinned it, I fused it back again, clipped it, mirrored it, poly extruded it, then I subdivide, and I booleaned the nose out, and I was left with those two pieces from the nose hole. And yeah, I blasted them of course away, and I smoothed it again, so yeah. Then up here I converted the whole thing into a VDB from Polygon, and I combined, or I think it was a SDF difference. Yeah, I just basically subtracted the head away from the main piece to create this detail. You don't necessarily need it, but I just wanted to do it, because when you make a rendering like that and there's a big intersection between the VR goggles and the headset, I think that will look pretty weird, so I cut it out, I converted it back, and then I quad remeshed it with the Exercise quad remesher. So I think that will take a little bit. I think I already cached it out, but the file cache is currently in another folder. So Exercise quad remesher will do a wonderful job on that, and on that thing too. Yeah, right. That's the front piece. So like it's got like this line detail, and I want to do that too. So I blasted away the front section, because I want not just that piece, I wanted a little bit more detail. So blasted that, extruded that, but with a local transform, so I can rotate it to give it a little bit of a rotated end. And then again, polybevel, VDB from polygons, and the Exercise quad remesher. There are ways, or there are some scenarios when the quad remesher will give you bad results if you just get them like a basic polygon shape that's not remeshed. So I always try to keep it pretty simple, but in this case the topology was better if I do a quick VDB remesh. Okay, I already showed that. Then again, groups, group rim, group base, group front piece, so there are those together here. And of course the head. Then there was these straps here to get the VR goggles in place, or keep the VR goggles in place, so you can play your games, stuff like that. And then simply what I did was create this little shape. So a grid, just scaled it manually. Again, group, polybevel, resample it, and then I rayed it onto the headset or on the VR goggles. After that, I now extruded it, group, poly bevel, and again the exercise quad remeasure. And I think after that I mirrored it, yes, so basically you don't need to do that twice because it's a mirrored object, so you can just mirror your remeshed piece to the other side. So it did that here. And there was also this little front piece right here. So here's no front piece, but I think on another VR goggle device there was like this front piece, and I just included that. After the group delete and here the group clips, then I started with the straps, so these here, the straps 3 times, so I can do one thing and I can do the second, and the second strap I can mirror again. So I did it manually from the top, always with the heads template like that, and I just moved them up, I skinned them a little bit, I poly extruded them, and mirror, subdivide, and for the headpiece too. So I created them manually. So it's currently, yeah, I created them manually, just really in a quick way. Resampled them, poly extruded them, and then you can just mirror it again, reverse it, poly extrude, and subdivide, and you're finished. So it's really a basic setup, but for those, I think, dailies, it just needs to work one time and you're finished. Of course, you can do another way. I think I tried it out down here. You can of course place a line right here and then ray it with given custom normals or custom direction, and after the ray you can blast everything from a certain curfew amount away, so that will do the job too and is a little bit procedural. After that we will merge everything together, so the head with the VR headset, and then we will start with this section down here. That will cook quickly. So for this section I blasted away the head, or the VR headset, so it's always good to try to keep a good organization with the groups, because when you organize your groups, I think it's pretty simple to to keep on going with like a setup that will basically accumulate the several objects in the end to be the final object. And I think that's pretty easy when you have a good organization in your group setup. I placed normals on the points by the head, and then I painted a little bit on the head. Oh, that was the wrong button. Let me just view my paint here. So I painted a little bit on the head where I want to place points, so I templated my VR goggles here, and I painted a little bit around them, and I called this, I think I called it just mask, just the default name, then a scatter, and you can, on a scatter node, you can place, or you can inherit an attribute for a density. So this is currently mask, so I will show you that quickly. We will place down a grid and just subdivide it a little bit, and you can use now the paint node. So attribute paint, and you can paint on there, like let's get a H for Houdini, and you can do like, oh, that's too small for a smiley. Like that. And now it's painted, and you can place down a scatter, and you can use the mask attribute for your scatter distribution. So we've got an H with a smiley face. That's basically the idea behind a pretty non-procedural setup with a predefined scattering distribution. But of course you can do that procedural too. So for example, what I can do in this case, I can just use the VR headset, and I can use I think here what will do the job will be a mask from geometry node, maybe. Just change the inputs here and like that, and then reverse it. Yeah, that will do the job too, but so for example, that will do the job too, but you need another geometry when you don't want, for example, the connector wires not on the neck, or then if you got a full body setup on the chest. Or so I think sometimes it's better and faster to just do it manually by hand and not to do it procedural, especially for the daily setups. So then I scattered some points here. I attributed randomized the p-scale. I copied circles onto them, and then I got the head geometry here again with a ray. So I will do for each connected piece loop, I will ray them down. So where is it? Here is it. I will ray the circles down onto the given geometry. In this case, it's the head. I will reverse them and place down a poly expand. Really cool node, pretty handy. I will offset the surface. Let me grab an example here. So for the poly expand 2D, it's a really cool node. You can expand a surface or a curve at a surface, at the inside or outside, or both, of course. Or you can offset the curve like that. So that's pretty handy and really in a pretty good variety of setups. So keep that in mind. Poly expand for really procedural modeling and procedural hard surface modeling. It's really cool. Oh, there. Then I poly extruded it. Again, a little detail here. Beveled the edges. Try to do that because a hard edge like that in your render will not look good, and especially in the real world there is basically no hard edge. Even when you look at a knife in a electronic microscope, there is no hard edge. So basically try to round your edges or your hard corners. It don't need to be much, so you don't need to overdo that, of course, but when you do it with a little amount and you seek for that extra detail level, I think it's really good to do that. So then I merged them both together, so I got the circle and the connector piece here, and I did that of course in a loop, and after that I split them. So I will split the connector pieces, and here are the, where are the, oh, here are the other pieces. So I tried something out with them in a pop network, I think, or with a, oh yeah, that was a fine choice path growth, but that didn't looked cool. So after that I placed down a connectivity, so each non-connected piece of geometry will get an attribute called class. You can see that right here, so hide all class, and you can of course visualize that class. And I extracted with that attribute each individual center points. So let me get the points bigger. Geometry. So you will, or you, with the extract centroids, you can extract each centroid point from the center of mass from the given geometry. For example, in this case, the connectors. And then I think I transferred the normals here. Then I assigned velocity to the normals, so really a simple vex here. V at V equals at n. After that, I used the given points for really simple pop simulation. So this is the pop simulation here. I trailed them. So here's basically the head. I trailed them. A quick resample. I grouped the points in the end and I rayed them back on the head. So this is, let me just get a good point of view here. Yeah, that's good. So keep your eye on that line here. So this is with raying back and this is without raying back. So I just rayed the endpoint on the given geometry. Then I deleted the attributes because I don't need them. Then I transferred back the p-scale. This is important to get non-intersecting wires. So this is another detail I wanted to do to keep it non-intersecting. After that there is a second loop, so I will now go through each line that is created by the pop simulation. Did I create a... Yeah, I also create a curve view here, but I think I recreated down here. Okay. So then I let me get the attribute. I attribute blurred the p-scale a little bit. I transferred back. I resampled it with a curve view, and then I built it a custom, simple wire setup. That's pretty simple, just a resample. Polyframe with a tangent name of n, so you will get the normals in that direction. Of course there is the copy to curve node, I think, but I just wanted to do it manually. And a really simple way here, curve view fitted between 0 to 1 to the destination of 1 to 720. Then a degrees to radians, so I will convert given degrees here to radians for the quaternion. and after that I bind it out as a rod, as the rotation attribute. And I imported also the the curve view. So basically curve view, an attribute or float value from 0 to 1 with a ramp, and I multiplied that with the p-scale and bind it back out for the p-scale. So every connector will not get intersected with the given wires. Then I connected that back again with the ID. So here's a circle, so I copied a circle on the lines. I enumerated that circle. So basically enumerate is just a node that will predefine your add primnum or add ptnum to a custom attribute. In that example, add ID, or you can just type anything you want here. So I just use ID here. And after that I will copy them onto the given line. I will add them together by group by the ID, so I will get this wire look. I will then get a polywire, again multiply it by the p-scale to get a non-intersecting setup here. And then we do that 35 times. After that, group delete all, group the cables, and merge everything together. And we are basically finished with this setup. Then to the rendering. What is that? Oh yeah, that is basically the font here. So Collective Escape Technology 80-2021. It's just a font with a transform, bolt extrude, and another transform. Of course, you can ray it onto the goggles and then extrude it. So this is that. This is the glass panel piece here in front of it, and then the materials. The base material, I think that's the head. Pretty simple. Oh wait, base. What is base? Oh, base is the VR goggles base material. The head is the head material. Tapes, of course, tapes with a little bit of fabric texture. Clip, nothing special. Matte tubes, nothing special. So they are all pretty basic pieces here, or pretty basic materials. The glass with a little bit of bumping and reflectivity with scratches. And I placed down a few lights. And let's get the rendering started. Oh, not Octane, Redshift. Redshift! And I did some test setups with, oh my god, with Ars dome lights, but they all looked pretty good, so not bad. That's the wrong camera. I want camera 2, I think. So they all looked pretty okayish, but I wanted to do a manual setup, and yeah, that's just a pretty basic setup, like you with a complementary light, so red in the back, blue from the 45 degrees angle, so like a beauty dish light from the top left side. And wait, I can just show you that. So here are, this is the red rim light, hair or top light, then the beauty light, but with a upper direction and like a neck light that will illuminate a little bit the VR headset, the mouth, the cheek, and so on. So that's basically, let's get this started and Redshift started, and it's basically the whole setup. So it's pretty simple, and when you view it like in like this non how can I say this, in this non-neon kind of bullshit lighting, you can just turn it back to give it a little bit more realistic look. But yeah, I like that lighting setup, and I think it turned out pretty okay, and that's basically it. So yes, that's the whole setup behind this Mardini challenge art piece Escape. I hope you liked it and you can get some idea how I did that, and maybe you can inherit some process or some ideas of it, and I hope you liked it. And yeah, stay safe, and I will see you in the next tutorial or course. So I'm currently in the production of new courses. There will be Procedural Design Volume 2, there will be Motion Design, and some other courses in the soon future. So stay safe, and I will see you. Bye.